Well, hey there, this is Mike from Just Car People Things. Always appreciate you liking and subscribing. I don't know why I haven't started with that in the last 30 videos I've done, but I probably should lead with that. That being said, beyond liking and subscribing, thought you guys might want to check out some of the work we're doing on our 2004 Toyota Tundra project truck. We just recently clay barred the vehicle. In addition to doing a teardown wash where we actually use some like Dawn dishwashing detergent a little bit to try to pull all of the stuff that might have ever been on this paint over the course of its couple 100,000 miles and 20 years of rolling down the road. So one thing I want to note is the car definitely has a little bit of sunburn. In fact, if you go up on the roof and you climb up here, you can actually see some of the clear damage that's here on the roof and some of the clear that's even coming off. So we are not going to be touching the roof right now. This is going to need to be wet sanded and then probably re-cleared, which is something we'll go over in another video. A little more complex of a process. Today we're going to do some polishing related work, and the vehicle really needs a polish or compounding. And what compound does or polish does, which is different than a wax, is it actually has abrasives in it, and that's going to work away at this surface to try to bring it back to how it's supposed to look. And one thing you'll notice, particularly around the edges here, I don't know if you can see this here, but there's definitely some oxidation in the clear coat. So much like the clear coat failed on the roof, we have learned after kind of detailing the vehicle and kind of being around it quite a bit that this side of the car probably sat in the sun where it was parked at work or parked at home. So it probably spent 8 or 10 hours a day in full sun in the summer, everything else. It's very high temperature, it's a dark color, it's going to pull heat. And that's why you see stuff like this, where we're going to have to respray these door handles with a factory color to make them look correct to the vehicle. So you can even see the clear bra on this side has taken a real beating as well. We'll probably end up removing that and replacing it with another piece over the top of it. But that said, we want to start with a polish today. Just go the whole way around the vehicle, do a quick polish on it. Really 3 or 4 pieces of kit that you're going to need to do this. The first is actually a polisher. This is a kind of a cheapy Harbor Freight polisher. Really nothing special. I don't detail cars every day. I used this probably about 6 months ago when we got our 1LE Camaro here to kind of correct some of the minor defects. I've got a Meguiar's microfiber cutting pad. These run about $6 or $7. This one's been used at least once before, but you can clean them and wash them and they turn out just fine. We got the polisher. We got a set speed max of 6. We'll probably start at like a 4. I do have compressed air. So one thing I know for those of you who watch like Ammo NYC videos, they have a microfiber cutting pad. When they go through and cut stuff with this, they're cutting that top layer of clear and damaged layer of clear off. They then come through and blow off the oxidized material that's inside here. Some of those guys you'll see wear a respirator as well or a mask when they do this. That's probably a little bit something to think about if you are a frequent detailer, if you're doing this 2-3 times a week, stuff like that. But for hobbyists like probably you and me who may do this once every couple years, I don't think it rises to the level of needing to be worried about like silicates and some of the things that are coming off this. We'll see just how much stuff we pull off, and maybe I'll be back here with an N95 on in a few minutes. But let's start with kind of how we typically start with a polish. 3 categories of products, right? The one that's not sitting here is a wax. Waxes generally do not, sometimes they'll chemically abrade the paint a little bit if you have a cleaner wax, but most of the time waxes are a topping material. And those fill in all these fine swirl marks and scratches and make the car look shiny until the wax wears off. Polish is the next step. You'll notice this is for fine defects and dullness. This is a Griot's product. It's a really solid product, runs about 20 bucks a bottle. Meguiar's makes an ultimate polish as well. Then they make an ultimate compound, which again, on that scale of aggressiveness, this is the most aggressive product. This is going to take off the most clear coat and most abrasive. So what I like to do is I usually like to start with a test panel. We actually did a test panel by hand with the compound right over here. And you probably can see it on camera, but there's the area that wasn't done. Here's the area that was done by hand with the compound, which is more aggressive. So normally if I can get this kind of result out of by hand with a compound, I'm going to take a crack at a polish first. And you know what we've got? I've got a little side-by-side here so you can see perhaps some of the issue. But the way that you do this, we shook this product up thoroughly before we opened it. We're going to put a good dollop or 2. And this first one you're going to say, hey, that's a lot of product on there. And it is. The first application of the product onto the pad, you're going to put a fair amount on. Once you get moving with this, you're going to put probably 1/3 of this amount of product on. But what I like to do is come in here just by hand, basically work this product into the pad and basically lubricate that pad to start. So you're not just putting down a pad that has nothing on it at all. Because again, you don't want to burn the paint yourself. You want to cut it. But you can see there's a fair amount of product on there. Then we'll come back in and maybe that's probably about the amount you'd normally put on if you're going panel by panel. So set that aside. We got some microfibers here. We're going to throw this over our shoulder. You got to be careful not to drag this along the paint because you can't actually mar the paint with it. So when you do this, sling it over your shoulder. Don't wrap it around your neck. Don't be that guy. But this thing's kind of loud, so I'm going to apologize. I'm going to shut up here because I'll probably turn the volume down. But here you go with it on. What? Huh? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I got a clean microfiber here. We're going to come in and we're going to pull this off. Just pull that haze off real quick. Oh man, that is night and day. Okay, I think we're going to end up going the polish route on this. This is looking absolutely perfect. I hope you guys can see that on camera. So if you go from right here to right there, that's a pretty big jump when you jump off there. And this is just starting. You can see a little bit of soiling on it, that residue, that kind of darkness that you see on the edge of it, a bit of a brownness to it. That what you're actually seeing there is the dead clear that we've pulled off this vehicle. And we went from having, if you can look maybe right through the antenna, but you see how rough this looks and how oxidized that looks? And then come over here and look at this. This looks like liquid green. That is awesome. All right, well, we're going to get to polishing. I don't think we're going to need to go to the compound unless we've got some really rough spots. Might even want to use that by hand on some really rough spots. This is something I think we're going to be good to go on just with the polish just on the hood. And what I always tell you to do is, this is a pretty small space, but you can probably work in 1 foot to 2 foot squares. You never want to do the whole door panel or the whole fender. You probably do half the fender at a time, stuff like that. But we're going to go through, we're going to work it a little bit. And I do want to show before we get off, we're going to turn the speed down on our polisher to like a 1. I'm going to show you blowing a pad out. And a lot of times people do this over like a trash can or over a towel or something like that, but we can just show you here real quick. But you're going to start moving, and we're just going to blast. Did you guys see the cloud of stuff that came off there? And that's going to remove a lot of that garbage off the pad and a lot of that dead clear coat. So that's part of why a lot of times you see those guys wearing masks when they do this, just because, again, if you're doing that every day, you probably don't want to be inhaling it every day. Again, for us as hobbyists, and kind of consumers of working on cars, probably a little bit less of a concern. But anyway, we're going to get cracking on it. The other thing I'm going to mention that you got to be really careful of is, you see how we have a lot of stone chips in this vehicle. We're going to need to come through and we're going to kind of leave this alone. So I'm going to probably draw a line across here and not have my polisher cross it. The polisher will tear at the paint and will actually rip off edges of this paint and make things worse. We have some Dr. Color Chip stuff on order to fill all these scratches and maybe make it look a little bit better. And that in turn means we just need to be cognizant of not damaging it further. So we're going to just try to stay up here a little bit where we don't have as many of those scratches and other issues. But we'll come through and we'll do a few more panels here, and we'll jump back in and just show you. Maybe we'll try to do about half the hood and kind of show you from above the difference in how that looks. I'll go climb up the stairs and you can see it from above. So cheers, guys. All right, folks. Well, we're half a hood in here now, and I just want to show you the absolutely shocking difference between this side of the hood, which still has a little bit of residue on it, as we move across. And you can watch that light over there. the difference there when you see the texture and color of that light between right there and right there. So that just goes to show you, I don't know if it's going to be dramatic enough if I go up the stairs that you'll be able to notice the difference, but we're gonna give that a shot real quick. Oh yeah, it's definitely noticeable from above. So much so that it is actually blindingly apparent. If you look at the clarity of that light over there versus the clarity of this light over here on the camera, hopefully that comes through, because it is wild. You can see the oxidation along the edge here of the hood behind the windshield washer sprayer. Look at over there, how clear that looks versus over here. And what that is that's oxidation of the paint. You can see how our clear coats failed on the roof, and it definitely sat on that side out in the sun. That side's worse, that's how you know. But you're seeing that oxidation come out along with a lot of the swirl marks. Is this going to be perfect? Is it going to remove everything? No. Maybe in a few of these rougher spots, I might actually come through with that compound, because it's a little bit more aggressive. These are both very consumer-friendly products, though. You really can't screw either up too bad. I am noticing some of these deeper issues in the clear coat, and there's one that's lingering right here. My guess is that's old bird stain. You can see there's almost a little bit of crow's foot in that. That's damage to the clear coat you're probably not going to be able to repair with a polisher. You can make it look better, but you're never going to get rid of it without actually repainting the surface itself. So that being said, we're going to go through and do a full polish on the vehicle. This little section here probably took us about 10 minutes or so. So I might jump in, try out a panel with the compound and see what it looks like, or maybe I'll finish the vehicle and then come back to the hood with the compound, because this area right here, particularly along the edge of that hood on the back, is going to be one of the roughest areas on the car. It always is. It takes a real beating in the sun, in addition to the fact that it's a flat surface, which means things like leaves and bird droppings accumulate on it. Whereas if you go to a panel here on the side of the vehicle, you can actually almost see kind of some runs vertically in the clear coat. But generally speaking, this stuff on this side of the vehicle, on that other side of the vehicle, very easy to manage and clean versus the hood, which is going to be one of the roughest spots. Anything that's flat is going to take a little bit more of a beating. So we'll be right back with you here in a little bit. We'll probably polish another side of the vehicle. Shouldn't take more than about 20 or 30 minutes to just do one side. And then we'll come back through and talk to you guys about what our end step is here about getting some protection on the vehicle once it's all polished. So cheers. All right, folks, well, here we are back after probably about an hour and a half or so. I've been working my way around the car. My hands feel like they're a little covered in compound. That's all right. We've got the side of the vehicle we did originally and have worked our way around. All we have left now is this little chunk of the hood here on this side. But I want to just do a quick walk around and show you the vehicle the rest of the way around it. Now, there's going to be a little bit of residue left on it from the compounding, and I'll need to come through with probably some spray detail or a final wipe with a microfiber to really pull that all off. There's like a lot of the oils, but we nearly completely eliminated some of the scuffing that was down here. You can see there's still some product left on this, but we'll come back through and wipe everything off really thoroughly. There was a scuff there. Someone made contact with something here, and that's cleaned up nearly all the small scratches. You can see that the trail stripes that were kind of all down the side of the truck before are completely gone, totally rehabbed there. You can't fix this. This is something that you're gonna have to fix with paint, but overall, the job's turned out really, really nicely. I do wanna highlight the benefit of having compressed air on this job. This pad has gotten very soiled as we've worked our way around the vehicle. The ability to hit it with compressed air and blow it out is pretty wild. I've been blowing the pad out right over here. And just to show you, this is what's coming off the pad. It's like almost like a dead clear coat chalk that comes off it. So when you do that, you just kick this baby on, and apologies for the noise, but you just fire it up and you basically just hit it with as it spins, and that blows off that residue out of here. Not something you probably want to breathe every day. I see a lot of YouTube detailers, professional detailers wearing masks. Probably not a huge deal for us who do this, once a year, once every few years. But you can actually see the atomized dust that's come off that that started to rest on the vehicle a little bit, which easy to take care of. So just something to think about. It's something I was thinking about, like, oh man, now I'm gonna have to make sure these guys are clean over here, but that's just the game. So as we work our way around the car, the other thing I'll note is the tailgate looks really, really nice. You can actually see a reflection in the tailgate now, which you simply could not before. This side of the vehicle was a little bit nicer overall. Sadly, it's the side that's got these two dents in it from something, but this side of the vehicle really turned out nice with a little bit of detailing work. And we'll get a layer of protection on this, probably a really solid sealant or wax of some sort. Probably go to like a ceramic seal at Meguiar's, makes a pretty good product for that. And I've got a few odds and ends, but I'll use the machine to apply it. But I just wanted to, take a moment before I come through and do this and just show one last before and after here, which you can really see, I think, particularly from sort of this angle. If I get up a little bit here, and you can see just all the issues that are hiding in this paint here. And as you lean forward, suddenly all those issues are kind of gone. This guy's actually in the paint and there's a little bit of damage. I think there's going to be a couple of those, but maybe old bird strike or something like that. But overall, I think this is going to be a good opportunity to come through and really just clean it up and make it look really good. And you can just see the difference in the oxidation here. I'm still mind-boggled by that, like right here versus right here. So really is turning out nice, and I'm really glad you guys could tune in and see this progress in the vehicle and have a little bit of fun looking at it and checking it all out. So would appreciate you guys liking, subscribing. Appreciate you asking any questions in the comments. Tell me all the things I'm doing wrong. I'm sure it's a long list. And thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.